Friends, I should like at the outset to welcome the Chief Ministers who have responded so readily to our invitation at a considerable short notice to discuss at this conference matters of vital and immediate importance to the country as a whole. The economic situation through which the country is now passing is one which understandably causes all of us some anxiety. For some months now, there has been a substantial rise in prices, and while there is an abundance of food reserves, there have been reports of shortage of other commodities. This is a situation which calls for concerted efforts by all concerned, irrespective of the party or the region to which one belongs. Both the central and the state governments are vitally concerned in taking measures for remedial action. The state governments in particular have an important role to play in ensuring that the people, particularly the vulnerable sections of society, have access to adequate supplies of essential commodities at reasonable prices. It was in this connection that I thought we should get together early to have a quick and very constructive discussion on what needs to be done to help the people of this country to tide over the present difficulties. On this occasion, I do not propose to dwell on the circumstances that have led to the present situation. I had dealt with this aspect at length in a recent press statement. Suffice it to say that successive budget deficits in the last 3 years, resulting in rise in the money supply, delays in making adjustment in administered prices, reducing the speed in the production of vital commodities such as coal and steel, failures in transportation, port and power infrastructure, and a deplorable worsening of attitude of industrial labor have all contributed to bring us to the pass in which we find ourselves today. Objective analysis brings out very clearly that the causes of the present phenomenon are not of recent origin but are to be found in deficiencies that had occurred over the past several years. In recent months, the adverse features in the economy have been aggravated by failures of the monsoon over large parts of the country. This has fueled inflationary tendencies as a result of expectations of lower kharif output and higher prices. However, we are today concerned not only with probing into the past but in dealing with the present and providing food for the future. While there is no room for complacency, there is equally no warrant for pessimism. The country is in a much better position today to tackle economic difficulties than it was ever before. We have massive stocks of food grains with which we can effectively overcome the ill effects of any shortfall in kharif production. However, the bad monsoon is bound to lead to scarcity of drinking water and fodder. Therefore, the state governments would have to take effective action to mitigate this hardship. Hence, it is essential that food for work programs should be stepped up and employment opportunities generated in rural areas to ensure that people do not leave villages for want of work. The works taken up for this purpose should be such as would lead to the creation of permanent assets in those areas. Apart from food grains stocks, we have substantial foreign exchange reserve which are being utilized to import large quantities of essential commodities such as edible oils to supplement domestic production. With all these advantages and the requisite potential will, I hope there should be no difficulty for the central and state governments while taking effective action to curb any unjustified price rise and ensure adequate availability of essential goods for the common people. In fact, several measures have already been taken on hand towards this end. Agricultural procurement has touched an all-time record and a massive movement of food grains from the producing centers to storage and consumption points is being implemented. Import of edible oils has continued on a substantial scale and maximum stock limits have been set to prevent hoarding. Steps have also been taken to ensure greater availability of cheaper varieties of materials to roll back prices of cotton. There are indications that the measures taken by the central and the state governments have already started yielding results. While inflation has not been stopped, the rate of inflation is showing signs of coming down. Nevertheless, I think we must all concede that much more needs to be done if the present trends are to be arrested and a healthy outlook restored to the economy. Indeed, it is a matter of distress that in spite of an abundance of stocks of commodities such as food grains, sugar and edible oils, prices should have risen. Therefore, this phenomenon is very clearly a result of two factors, namely the inadequacy of the present legitimate channels of distribution and secondly the ability of antisocial elements to indulge in the unscrupulous activities. It is the duty of the central and state governments to tackle these problems speedily. Yes, sir, we have been noticing with great concern that almost all our bills in respect of periodical servicing and also for repairs and sale of spare parts are not settled by you for so many months. Instances are not wanting where payment of bills has been delayed for more than a year. You must be aware that our contract with you is valid up to end of the month and that all our services and repairs and sale of spare parts bills as per the agreement are payable on presentation within the time prescribed therein. We have been seriously noticing this matter of money. Even though several reminders are issued, you have not cared in making the payments. We are surprised to know that why our bills are not being settled promptly. However, whilst we are willing to assist your organization and provide reasonable time to follow your procedure for clearing our bills, but we cannot accept the indefinite period of delay in settling them. As you will kindly observe from the note appearing on our bills, the maximum time limit for payment is 30 days from the date of issue. All our bills carry the guarantee for parts wherever they have been fitted and also certifies declaring that charges have been made at approved rates. Besides, our repair bills are submitted as per estimate duly approved by you and supported by chalanas signed by your officials certifying job completion and fitment of parts to your satisfaction. We therefore do not see any reason why our bills cannot be settled within 30 days from the date of issue. We request you kindly ensure that when making the payment, our maximum credit limit of 30 days shall not be exceeded, as we do not wish to reach a stage where due to inordinate delays in payments without specific reasons we may be led to the extreme step of suspending our service to you. If the same state of affairs are continued in future, we will proceed in legal terms to clear our claims We hope that you will not give room for such an action. Thank you. Yours faithfully.